What is up, y'all? Yo, this hat is giving this crazy shadow. I think we're gonna turn this around. Yeah, I think I'm liking that. Okay, so who has the hottest bike lineup, bro? We're gonna That's what I'm talking about today, right? And I'm gonna tell you the brand and I'm gonna talk about a couple other brands. In my opinion, the hottest bike lineup out there right now is Cervelo. I think Cervelo is just absolutely crushing it with the bike lineup. Now, next to Cervelo, I would say Trek. I think Trek is that brand that has a good bike lineup. And then the next one would probably be, and I'm gonna say Bianchi, right? And some people are probably like, where did that come from? And it's not because I got a Bianchi, back there, but it's just because I'm gonna talk about that, why I think that is, right? Cervelo just got a lot of badass bikes, bro. If I was racing and I was on a team and I had access to their equipment and their equipment selection, dude, I would want to be on Jumbo Visma, bro. They just have the better bike selection, in my opinion. Like if I'm gonna go on a hilly stage, I would want to ride probably like the R5 or the Soloist. And the Soloist is a badass bike. If it's something that's gonna be more flat, dude, I'd take that S5 all day. The S5 is a absolute solid aero bike. Like I really, I'm attracted to that bike, man. I'm really attracted to that bike, right? The next one I said was Trek because Trek just has a good lineup. The Madone is freaking crazy aesthetically. It has won some stages. It's doing this thing. You also have the Emonda, and let's say you're doing the Paris-Roubaix joint. I mean, you got the Roubaix bike, you got the Domani. You just have a good selection. Now, the reason why I threw Bianchi in there, because I think Bianchi has a pretty solid selection too. You've got the XR3 and you got the XR4. Now, as far as geometry wise, I think this is just a slight difference between the XR3 and the XR4. I want to say like the head tube, the stack is like 5 millimeters lower, and the head tube's like 5 millimeters lower. But just the aerodynamics of the frame is more aerodynamic from the XR4, but it's not too much of a big difference. And then also Bianchi they got that crazy ass true aero bike. Now, regardless what you think about how it looks, it's still a badass aero bike. So if I'm going to be on a team and racing competitively, I would want better options for different things that I'm going to attack so I could be the most competitive at the stage. Now, when we're talking about the differences, like they always say, it's marginal gains, right? But if you're at that professional level and you're competing and your fitness is there, and it's just the thing that's going to make those differences is those marginal gains, bro. And I would want to be riding on a team that gives me those options so I can select what's best going to outfit me for whatever particular stage so I can have a better chance of winning. That's just my opinion, right? So you notice I did not say specialize. And the reason I didn't say specialize, I don't think they have a good lineup of bikes for competition. They have the SLA, they have the tarmac, and I get the marketing for it, right? It's the one bike to rule them all. But I don't want a bike that does everything. I want a bike that does specific things. That's just me. And I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of people that feel that way, right? People that I know that are avid cyclists, that are on the bike, that like to ride, all them jokers got multiple bikes, bro. I'm a recreational cyclist. I ain't got no crazy FTP. I'm not winning no races. I'm not even racing, right? But I got 4 bikes, bro. I got 4 bikes. And a lot of my buddies I ride with, they got more bikes than me, bro. I don't think the everyday recreational cyclist is walking to a bike shop saying, give me the one bike to rule them all. They not saying that. They just going in there and they probably just looking to get a bike just to get on the road. The people that are the avid cyclists, the people that they want specific things for a specific type of rides or a specific type of events, they want those specialty bikes, bro. They want those specialty bikes. And Specialized does have a couple bikes like the Athos. It's a solid bike, but people aren't racing that bike because it's too light. It's under the UCI limit. It's not applicable to the scenario. So that kind of like cancels that out, right? The SL8, like I said, it does everything, but people want the Venge. I don't know why Specialized stopped making that bike. They really, really need to make that bike. The Specialized fanboys is out there, right? And let me finish, right? They want the Venge, bro. They want the Venge. Those people are walking into these bike shops and they're going to know whether they want a climbing bike or they want an aero bike. And I'm willing to bet, right? If somebody were to give you, no questions asked, here, I'm going to give you a bike. Would you rather have a Tarmac SL8 S-Works or a Venge S-Works? Me? I want the Venge, bro. I want the Venge. The Venge it's a good looking bike, man. Now, the SL8 does perform better than the Venge, but it's just something about the way that bike looks. And I'm not saying that people wouldn't pick the S-Works SL8 over the Venge. I just think there's a large population of people who want the Venge. I think for Specialized to be one of the bigger brands and leading, they need to bring the Venge back. I think it's going to happen. I just don't know when, but they need to do that. But in the meantime, until then, if I had to pick a brand of bike that I would want to be on, it has to be the Cervelo, man. The Cervelo, just like I said, they have too many weapons in the arsenal to be competitive in different types of riding. Now, an honorable mention that I would bring up is Factor. I would bring up Factor, right? I bring up Factor because Factor has the Austral VAM. And when I hear about true super fast bikes, the VAM is one that always comes up in discussion. I don't know if it's necessarily a true aero bike, but it is one of the faster, comfortable, I guess, aero bikes, right? And then Factor also has the O2, which is the super lightweight bike, right? Their climbing bike. Now, I don't know how much the O2 weighs. I want to say it meets the UCI weight limit. I don't think it's under, but Factor is one that is a brand that I would consider because they got the VAM, they got the O2, and they got that badass TT bike, the Factor Hansel. Man, that's a badass bike. Factor, and there was another brand I was just thinking about, and that other brand is Cannondale. Cannondale has a pretty solid lineup of bikes too, man. They got the System 6, which is a badass bike. I cannot wait for them to refresh that bike, right? The System 6, and then I can't even think of the Super 6. And the Super 6 Evo Hybrid, the new version, that's a badass bike. I've been seeing that bike freaking everywhere, bro. I've been seeing that bike everywhere. I have a big interest in that bike. The thing that kind of stops me from like really, really looking into a hard, the geometry just doesn't line up for me. I would want something with just a slightly lower head tube for me to achieve my riding position. Like the System 6 is something I'm interested in. If I can find a System 6 for a good price, size 51, that joker is bought. And so honorable mentions is Factor and Cannondale as far as like having a good wide range of bikes to be competitive in, I would say, a racing scene or a racing scenario, man. I don't know why. Like I said, I really think Specialized is going to come back with the Venge. I just don't know when that's going to happen. But I think they should get more to having those specific bikes that do a specific thing well. The one bike to rule them all concept, I'm not against it, but I think at that level, that high competitive level, and you working with those marginal gains, you would want that specialty bike that's going to do that one thing well. If it's flat, I want speed. If it's climbing, I want lightweight, and I want climbing, And then like jumping back to the Cervelo piece, right? I think right now with the LaVolta going on, like what's his name? The American dude, I want to say Sepp Kuss, right? The majority of the time he's riding a soloist, bro. He's not even really riding the S5, and that might just be the bike for him. Now, when the USA Nationals was here in Augusta a couple weeks ago, and I was out there checking it out, and I got some footage of that I need to put together and put out. But anyway, There is a lot of Cervelo bikes out there. A lot of Cervelo bikes out there. And the majority of people who were riding that bike, they were riding the Soloist. I talked to this one guy, I stopped him, and I'm gonna see if I can find the clip and bring it up, right? And I asked him, I said, bro, what do you think about the Soloist? He was like, man, it's that bike, it's everything. You have both, the S5 and the Soloist. Are you saying the Soloist is the bike?
It's more comfortable. The S5 stiffer, faster, straight. This turns a lot better.
Tell me about these pedals. I've only seen people racing with these pedals.
They're time pedals. That's a SRAM Zip product.
Wow, super light.
Light. Equipment is really nice.
And what gearing are you running on this?
50, 37 in the front, 10, 28 in the back.
The 50-37, is that your preference? Because whenever I see this gearing, everyone's running like the 48-35, and that's like, to me, I think it's kind of small.
You don't need that. So I also have a cassette that's a 1033.
Plenty of range.
So if you do a 37-33,
yeah,
that climbs anything. Yeah.
Nice. And you got SRAM red on here.
Yep.
Man, GoPro 11. That's what I'm talking about. Nice. How long is that stem?
That's 120.
120. Are these hookless?
Hookless.
What do you think about the hookless?
59 in the front, 61 PSI in the back.
Okay.
28 tires.
And those look huge for 28s. They blow out real nice.
I also have a 30 that I run in the back. It's nice.
Because that's what I roll. I have some Bontrager Aeolus RSL.
Yep.
It's got 23 internal width, and I run the 30 with Victoria Corsa Pros.
Yep.
And it's a nice combination.
I have a Continental 5000s on my. I have 303s for climbing.
Uh-huh.
So I run the Continental 5000.
The tubeless ones?
Tubeless, yeah.
So I was running GP 4000 and GP 5000.
Yep.
I think the GP 5000 to the tubeless ones, the tubeless is a way better tire.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice. I have
Everything I run is tubeless.
Yes, I'm a tubeless guy too. Some people aren't there yet, but I'm telling them,
Oh, they're good.
that's the way. Comfort, speed, everything.
Yep.
Man, appreciate it. What's your name again, brother?
I'm Justin.
Justin.
Yep.
All right, great talking to you. Thank you. I've been seeing that bike. I'm interested in it, but you know, I really like the S5. He's like, dude, I got them both, and I'd rather ride the Soloist. That's what he said, and that just kind of like blew my mind. Aesthetically, I don't think the Soloist competes with the S5. I think the S5 is that much better looking, but the Soloist is still a good looking bike. But for all around, do everything, he said the Soloist is that bike. The only thing that I think he said that he kind of didn't like about it, he felt like the front end wasn't super stiff. So when he configured his bike, he had that Zip Carbon SL stem. If you know that stem, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think that's probably one of the best stems on the market, man. It'll really change the dynamics of how your bike handles and how it feels, and it'll really stiffen it up. If your front of your bike is not that stiff, that's the stem you want. But that's the stem he had on there, and he was like, dude, with that setup, it was the truth, man. So I don't know, if you were riding for any team or could ride for any team, or somebody's gonna give you some equipment, which equipment line would you pick, man? Are you with Cervelo with me, or would you rather have the one bike to rule them all? Hey, man, let me know. But that's all I got for y'all on this episode of CycleTok. Of course, I'm your host, Mr. Robb Armstrong, and I'm out.